waiting till we get some people in the room there. Maybe some people have some questions and I have the answer. Potentially, I could even share my screen and do this the right way, shall we? So testing out some new tech here using Zoom. Zoom connected to YouTube, connected to me, connected to TradingView, connected to XLM. How about that? Wouldn't that be good? Just sending the word out, putting the word out. We'll start this thing shortly. Hello, Matt. How are you today? How's everything going? I have to let my members know, because if I don't at least tell them that there's something going on, then you know what? A lot of people message me on Telegram. I'll even let them know as well. If they don't connect, that's fine. People all over the world. I have London, 4:27 p.m., Milan, 5:27 p.m., California, 8:27 a.m., Iran, 6:27 p.m. Heard some news about Iran. They're cracking down on the miners there, so bit of action going on there with the mining. So yeah, let's see what we can do here. So first of all, I'd like to start with some comments, more comments. The more comments I get going, the more we can start this off. I just drink my red cordial to get me warmed up. So basically what I'm doing here is, random Q&As, because at random times you're going to get people who want to ask different questions. So more than likely, I'm going to do these more often in the future now that I've got the tech down. I mean, I work in IT. I should have had this sorted out ages ago, but when you put your focus on something, you can figure it out. All right, you can work it out. So it's all about focus. 6 years of developing AriasWave took a lot of focus. So it wasn't an easy feat. Definitely wasn't easy. There was periods where I definitely went through peaks and troughs. I definitely went through doubt, self-doubt, right? Self-doubt it's a pretty bad thing. So when that hits you, it's kind of like, You know, how are you going to continue from here? The only thing that keeps you going is that motivation to want to know more, want to succeed, want to improve, want to get better. Do you have that determination? If you don't have that determination, you ain't going nowhere. Right? You're just gonna be one of those people who, you know, they want to make some money and put some money on the line and lose it, and then feel bad for a while, try again 10 times, and that's it. After that, you'll start looking for answers. You'll start looking for answers. And then when you can't find them, you're going to start looking on social media, because where else are you going to look? Right? Where else are you going to look? And then you're going to come across a whole bunch of other stuff, which is just going to drive you down so many different avenues that it'll just basically fog your mind. So that's why I created AriasWave, was because I wanted to clear it up. So it's easy for me to say, oh, I created AriasWave. I have a methodology, but I create these posts so that you can see the BS I'm posting. I call it BS. It's all BS. Everything is BS until you can prove that it's true, right? Until you see the evidence in front of you to actually say, yeah, this is not BS. He's consistent with his results. And I have gone back and I have looked at his, you know, past mistakes and his flaws, and then I can see how he turned it around and how he grew. But he had a framework the whole way. He had a framework the whole way through. Hello, Crypto Jitney. Peace to you. All I can say is that if you spend enough time looking for information, you'll find everything. You will find every kind of information. There is information on AriasWave. There is information, like there is an encyclopedia of indicators. There is the news. There is agendas, narratives. There is coronavirus. There is so much crap that can throw you off. There is also, most importantly, there is this correlation with Bitcoin and altcoins. So this is something I want to talk about right now, all right, as I drink my red cordial to hype me up. I remember drinking red cordial when I was a kid. It used to hype me up. Still does. Yeah, you're right. Apex predator. God damn. Apex predators, watch out for them. They will catch you off guard. Basically, it's kind of like this. From experience, you will learn what is bullshit. Right? You will learn. You will learn to detect. Like I started in IT when I was 16 years old. I taught myself how computers work. I used to mess around with computers with my cousin. He went off and did a tradesman job, right? Because a lot of people, tradesmen make good money, right? But I was into computers. I just stuck with it because I saw logic behind it, but you teach yourself stuff, and then, but when you're in computers, you learn to notice what's BS or not. Like, I'm sure if you ever had a Hotmail address from the beginning, you would have realized that you start getting all this spam. You get all this spam mail and junk mail, and then you start to like, you start to realize, hang on, this is just bullshit. What is this crap? Like, and even though like this may seem like pretty obvious to you and I, to a lot of people, they fall for that crap. They do. They literally fall for that crap. And that's why you have fraud, which is at all-time highs, especially during COVID, especially during, when people at their most vulnerable, people fall victim to BS, right? But I've been doing this for 6 years, and I decided that I'm going to post my ideas. All right. I'm gonna allow you to decide whether I'm full of BS. I don't think there's any other way that you could make a name for yourself in this industry unless you actually have something proven. So therefore, I'm still in that early stages of getting that credibility, proving myself, right? So that's what I'm doing. Um, it depends on how much effort I put into it. So like, for example, with the last idea, I really try to make it risky. I wanted to make it so risky that it's like, if you fuck up now, you're going to look like a dumbass. Cool. That's great. That's what I need. I need that. I need that opportunity to prove myself, right? Because otherwise, how are you going to gain that credibility, right? You can't just keep putting out videos where sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong, you readjust. You need to actually start really telling people without directly teaching them, because I can't directly teach you this stuff. You have to buy that shit in order to learn it, right? But you have to at least give people enough information so then they can sort of say, okay, over time, I can trust this guy a little bit and I can risk a little bit. And if he's wrong, I'm just going to delete him off my subscribers list or whatever, right? Great. That's my aim. My aim is to actually gain enough credibility to so that the work speaks for itself rather than me trying to convince people. Like, you can't convince people. People are not stupid. People are going to see, are you full of BS? They're going to see it. They're going to know you. Just keep posting BS, and sooner or later, it'll be obvious. I mean, like I said, I was that guy who started off at 16. I was checking my spam mail and I knew what was BS and what wasn't. For damn sure. I knew who was trying to email me versus who was actually, I didn't know you, and whatever you're saying is BS. I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? We surely you know that much by now. So it's the same thing with TradingView, right? I'm pretty sure it is. I don't go looking at other people's channels because I don't care. I don't give a rotten crap about other people's channels. So now I'm going to turn to the questions. I want to see what's up. I have no idea what you are talking about 90% of the time, and therefore have no current way of verifying if what you were saying is true. However, the way you talk about human psychology and markets in general leads me to think that you are a rational person. Although you might be wrong or fooling us, you are still obviously educated enough to communicate effectively. I'm not BSing you. If I was the kind of person who was going to BS you, that would mean that I had some kind of skill at BSing. So therefore, I should be a salesman. But I created AriasWave. So being a salesman is like I just explained it to you. I'm using the ideas for you to see if they actually are true or not, right? I don't want to be a salesman, right? I want you to actually buy something because you believe in it, not because I'm trying to sell it to you, right? That's my business model, right? If I wanted to try and BS you, I'd be like most of the commercials you watch on mainstream media, and I'd also have no proof to back up my claims. I don't know how else to put it, really. So Apex Predator says he's grateful for Bitcoin. All right. So the patterns tell me that Bitcoin was the leader. Yes, it's the leader. It's the first one out the gate. It's that dog who leapt out the gate first. Does that mean the other dogs won't win the race? Right? And it's not to say that there's only, because in a dog race you only get about 6 or 7 dogs, right? Basically, it's more like is the first dog out that box correlated in any way with the other dogs? Are they related? Are they part of the same family? Well, maybe in one race they might be, I don't know, but in every race, no. It's just an analogy, right? I don't think they're related at all. I think that everything is measured against Bitcoin, but it doesn't mean that in the long run it's going to be all about Bitcoin, right? I think that it's like a yardstick, right? It's the same with the euro versus the USD, right? Is the euro gaining strength, or is it the US dollar getting weaker? I don't really care, because the waves allow me to not care. The waves tell me the pattern, and I use the pattern to determine the future result for that chart. Right? Do I care whether it was USD that got weaker or euro that got stronger? It doesn't matter. So using that logic, it's the same with cryptos. That's why I don't believe in the whole everything follows Bitcoin forever and ever. Amen. I pray to the Lord, please don't ever kill Bitcoin because it will kill every other altcoin. Really? So if somebody killed Bitcoin suddenly, would all other altcoins die? Oh my God. Have you ever thought that way? Matt says, have you read The Great Reset? And by the way, I'm not reading these in any order. I will go back and forth through the comments, and I will get to everything because I love to cover everything. That's my job. Yes, The Great Reset, the World Economic Forum, the whole, basically like a communist world that they're trying to create for us. Don't doubt it. I saw this video once on YouTube made in the 50s telling me exactly what the 13 bloodlines are up to. Edge of Wonder got banned off YouTube. Why? Because they started telling you exactly what's going on. I'm not going to talk about Alex Jones because I didn't really pay attention, but he got banned. I'm sure he was telling some truth. I do understand that we live in a world where we are under control. I do believe that whatever was slavery in the past was slowly transmuted into a different form where back in the day, black people were slaves, but now everyone is a slave type thing, except they use technology and media and agendas in order to brainwash the public, in order to basically conform to the rules, so they make people feel free even though they're not free. So even though you feel free, and that's something that they determined, was that the human being will actually be more productive if they feel free compared to if they feel like they are a slave. So they created this system. And I will touch more on that in a sec. I just want to go and just look at some more questions here. Yeah, absolutely. Conspiracy theories are definitely something that I used to like, but investigated. However, it's not hard to use your own logic to figure out what's going on, right? If you've ever heard of Martin Armstrong, have a look at his story. He has there's a documentary on Martin Armstrong, the forecaster. Watch that. I watched it like a week ago. I've been meaning to watch that for like ages, but I put it off because I've been so busy. Literally explains exactly what's going on. And I suggest you listen to people like Martin Armstrong on YouTube. Gregory Mannarino is one of my top 10 because he speaks truth. I do believe that a lot of these, okay, so Martin Armstrong has, he reckons the Dow will top at 40,000. I reckon the Dow will top at 40,000 too. So whatever he's doing is in line with what I'm doing. That makes me feel, a level of confidence. But he's way more advanced. Like what I'm doing, I reckon what I'm doing is probably ahead of its time. But what he has done has he's already outdone everybody. So, one sec. Let's turn off this heater. Getting a bit cold in here. Now it's getting a bit warm. Okay, so Apex Predator, I'm trying to bet. Thank you, Almighty Fly. You're that fly on the wall who's been listening to what I've been saying. Obviously, you know that I am tapped in. It's not that I'm tapped in. It's just that when you figure something out, you know how it works, right? Just like if you reverse engineered a UFO, could you potentially, I don't know, figure out how something works that's never been done before, type thing? I'm not saying that I've done anything particularly amazing. I just think that I've just used my logical reasoning and process of elimination plus logical reasoning plus a lot of time thinking about it to just figure out something that was there all along. And so I decided to just run with it because I was looking for that answer and it just popped up. It's a very interesting story, but this other thing, right, with the talking about the usefulness of different coins. Yeah, they've all got their own individual use case utility. Absolutely. But you have to understand that at this point in time, it makes no difference because we're in a bear market rally. If you've been watching my videos, you'll understand that we are in a bear market rally, which means we're in a wave 2, and not until we get to the end of wave 2 will we see the actual real gains that everybody's expecting, even for Bitcoin. Okay, so I'm going to touch back on that in a second, because I want to talk about the whole Bitcoin XLM idea, where people keep thinking, well, how can XLM go up and Bitcoin go down, right? And this thing, this really bugs me, because I know the answer, but it's trying to communicate that answer that only the people who really want to know will understand what I'm trying to say. Well, the only reason, thank you, Crypto Jitney again. The only reason I got into XLM is because of AriasWave, because I looked at all the coins, looked at all the waves, and saw that it had the biggest run up in 2017. And then the wave B was expanding, and it hadn't finished yet. And the way that it once you understand AriasWave, you start to understand where corrections end. So you can only basically take a measurement of the exact move that you had initially from 2017 from the end of the B wave. And the way that the XLM was looking was that basically it was expanding to the point where that correction would end higher, and then you could measure even higher. The target would be even higher. So it is a niche, and it's still proving itself. It's still in the process of proving itself. So it doesn't really matter to me who likes my work or who doesn't, because in the end, the proof will be in the pudding. You get me? The people who are early adopters, that's why I have that offer now, like 50% off, because I really want to meet like-minded people. And so far, that's exactly what's happened. People who are very like-minded have been the people who have signed up so far. I don't want trolls signing up. I try to bash them for a reason. I don't want to make friends with them, because if I did, then that means you could open the door to potentially people not being loyal. And I don't like that. I don't like, we're dealing with psychology here, people, right? Are you going to try and make friends with an enemy, someone who's going to try and, do you wrong? Pretty obvious, yeah. Yeah, so the one coin that got me interested the most was XRP. I won't lie. When I first researched cryptos, it was actually XLM. All right. No BS, no lies. But then I started looking at XRP, and I thought, holy moly, this is the one. And then I started to look at other coins, looking for you start to look for patterns that can make you more profit and that. So you start to go for the ones, you start to expand your horizons. But then I went back and I said, you know what? Just look at the waves. Don't be an idiot. This is not the time to look at use case utility, because we're in a bear market. The time to look for use case utility is after the bear market is over, which is not yet. Okay, so we have to hit that high first, which I'm aiming for. And then we have to have that crash, and then we're going to go for that bear market. So when that crash happens, that's when you should be thinking about which one is the use case, the best use case utility, whatever. I'm going to buy both XLM and XRP. I'm not going to take my chances. All right. So, but right now, it's not the time to use the value investing methodology because it's so early on. Now is the time to use the waves. Well, we're always going to use the waves, but now is the time to use the waves to make profits and then capture the profits, put them into USDT, wait for the crash, and then pick the coins you want, whatever coins you want. Like, by the time that happens, I would have investigated a ton of coins, right? But because I know that we still have time, I'm only trying to, like, I don't want to take your attention away from what I'm trying to do, and that's make you profits, prove the credibility of AriasWave, and then take it from there. Like, I want you to get out at the right time, and then I want you to buy. I want you to realize when that crash is over, and then I'm going to leave it up to you to decide what you want to buy. I'm not really going to have a say in that, right? Because that's going to be up to you. But I'm going to try and cover as many coins as I can, because by then the credibility would have given you the insight to sort of like have more faith in what I'm analyzing at that time. You know what I'm saying? So trying to give you perspective here. Let's go to some comments here. Yeah, there's not enough talk about XLM. Well, usually it's the one that no one pays attention to, which is the one it's the quiet achiever, you know. Plus Jed McCaleb. Wouldn't it be interesting to be Jed McCaleb? Everything that you touch turns to gold, and then you bail. I don't know. That sounds kind of weird. But one thing though that you have to understand is he dumped all his XRP, or is in the process of dumping all his XRP. So why would you do that? Why would that be so public if that was true, or if it's not true, or if it is? Well, obviously there's evidence to support that. But why would you do that if you didn't think that it was going down? And my analysis says it's going down too. So it's kind of like using logic, putting 2 and 2 together. I do know how to use technicals, but my main focus is waves. So at certain times, I will use technicals because they can prove a point. But it's secondary. Everything is secondary to the waves. I always say that. I never ever say I choose anything over waves. That's not the point. Yeah, XLM is the sleeping giant. And the reason I say that is because, like, if you look at the XLM BTC chart, just because we've seen XLM against BTC fall up until now, well, that's in line with the waves. That this point right now is when it's going to go up. So let me just share my screen for a second. All right. So we're just looking at the XLM chart. Like, I mean, I put out that idea that this red line cannot be broken. Now, if I was full of BS, easily that red line would have been broken. Easily. Sorry, give me a sec. I'm just trying to find myself. Ah, here we go. All right. So yes, I'm an M&M fan, in case you didn't know. All right. Yeah, so maybe Jed does want to do that, but at the same time, he did disagree with them. And, you know, the fact that he disagreed and he left and then they got investigated, he didn't even get investigated himself, kind of tells you something. So I don't know, just using logic. I don't even think about that stuff. So looking at this chart right now is not important. It's more that BTC, XLM BTC. Okay. So quickly want to touch on this. Okay, so it's the same story. We're looking at an ABC pattern. Now, did any of this price action go below the white line? No, and it won't. Okay, because this is how AriasWave works. I can guarantee that, because no pattern ever does that unless this was a zigzag here. But the way that we can determine that wasn't a zigzag is by looking at the internals. Okay, so let me just go to this now so I can show you what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, that's right. I didn't actually upgrade my subscription. I've been so busy. I don't even have time to upgrade my damn subscription to this thing. I was premium, by the way, so that doesn't make me a lesser person. But this here, this is not a zigzag. That's a 5-wave move. Okay. So if that was a zigzag and this was a B, well, we have the STR XLM chart to prove that that's not true. But anyway, let's just get back to the point. So I can see an A, I can see a B, C, waiting for a DE. So once the DE happens, we're going to go straight to who asked the question before, how many sats? It's about 0.00007630 sats. That's what we're aiming at least. Okay, but that doesn't mean anything. All right. Well, it does mean something, but because we're still in a correction, this is like still part of a correction. So it really doesn't mean that much. All right. Hi, Alicia. Hi, Robert. Hi, E. coli. Sounds like something I've heard before. E. coli. Yes, XLM is very complex and slow. But you know what? So are most of the coins. Just because something goes up, it doesn't mean it's going to keep going up, especially in percentage terms. I still have a lot of work to do this weekend. I've been very busy. On Saturday in Melbourne time, I'm going to be posting a bunch of stuff, heaps of stuff, like a flurry of stuff. I've just been thinking about it. Jed has ties with the IMF. He's also part of the yeah, I'm not going to say too much, but Jed has ties with the elite. And that's very interesting in itself because of the history of what he's done versus what is happening now. That's really interesting stuff. The Ripple case will not affect all coins. I don't think that's true. And the reason is because news has no effect on coins, right? I reckon that news is basically BS. The collective human consciousness gives waves their particular patterns. If I was the SEC and I decided to make up a BS argument against, whatever, XRP, what if I was lying? What if I was proved wrong? Like, yeah, sure, in the short term, it might create some price movements, but we've seen XRP go up during the SEC lawsuit. So I've never believed in that. In fact, I recommend, even though I don't like AriasWave, I do like Robert Prechter. He has this book called The Socioeconomic Book of Finance. I've read that a few times, and it's got some really good insights if you like to know, if you like waves, but don't like AriasWave. I suggest you look up that book because it's got a lot of good insights on how supply and demand is a myth, right? Because like it's just like that link on my website where you could create a whole bunch of coins, right? And if somebody decides, okay, so you create 10 billion coins, and if one person buys it for $1, does that mean that it gives it a value of $10 billion? Like, you know what I mean? That's exactly what's going on here. So in the end, the BS will come out. So for now, it's just like speculation, and that's what we do. We're just trying to make money off speculation. I'm not going to lie. But when the time comes for the actual big move in the future, that's actually going to make a lot of money for people, make them rich way beyond anything they've seen in the last 5 to 10 years. It's actually going to change the world because we're moving to a cashless society. Coronavirus, oh, hang on, it's contagious. If we use cash, then couldn't you spread the coronavirus on if you handed money to somebody? Couldn't you hand over an infected piece of currency? I mean, this is the agenda. I mean, isn't that pretty obvious? They want to get rid of cash because they want to track everybody, because they want to know what every single dollar is doing in the system. I mean, that's just part of what I was saying before, where they're trying to control everybody, right? They want to know what's going on because they use many tactics, and that's just the most latest and most innovative tactic that they've got. The older tactics go back to radio, TV, commercials, all that sort of stuff. Okay, so I'm going to go back now and talk about the whole Bitcoin thing. So let's go to the Bitcoin chart for a sec. So this one, I'm going to let you marinate on this one for a bit. All right. Just let you look at it for a moment. This is wave one. I have no doubt in my mind. This is a zigzag, wave A. All right. This is a wave B. B. I'll even change the color for you if you don't believe me. There it is, B. All right. Have a look at that for a sec. Now, I'm turning on my 500, 1,000 moving average. If you want to talk about BS past performance, okay, fine. Every time Bitcoin has gone up, it's always come back to revert to the mean. 500, 1,000, 500, 1,000, 500, 1,000. So what? We're not going to do it this time just because you say so, just because Michael Saylor says so, just because Elon Musk says so. Every single time we've gone too far away from the 500, 1,000 moving average, it's come back to touch it, to test it, to crack beneath it. So what? This is magically going to ignore everything that's happened before. Okay, great. That's fine. Maybe it will, but not according to the waves. Okay. According to the waves, this B wave is done. Okay. So take away all of the BS, right? If this is a B wave, does that look like the start of a 5-wave move down? Does that look like the start of something that's going to move lower? Or do you think that this just looks like some kind of correction that's going to come just bouncing back? I want to hear your comments. Yeah, I know about the front page of 1988, the new world. Watch out for the new world currency, the phoenix rising from the ashes. Yes. That's XLM or XRP. It's one of those two, right? Who can really know for sure? It's one of them. So basically, like, without saying too much, right? Because I'm not going to try and teach you AriasWave here. This is a B wave, and a B wave is a zigzag, right? Usually the A wave is the same length as a C wave. Now the C wave in this case has obviously just gone way too long because of Michael Saylor. Well, not just because of Michael Saylor. Could be the stimulus checks, could be the stimulus in general, could be an irregular top, as Ellioticians would call it. But this is actually a bubble, all right? And this is not a complete correction, right? I've shown you what corrections look like. I try to show you in every freaking video that I post. And the reason why I've started doing that more is to show you that there is not just a zigzag, right? There is not just a zigzag in a correction. All right. This is BS. This is not like a whole correction. And then we've got like a 1, 2, and then to the moon, to the moon, to the moon, all the way up. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm never going to stop. But I'm telling you right now that there is something really funny going on here. All right. We still haven't broken that red line. Something really funny is going on here. And a lot of people say, if Bitcoin goes down, so do the alts. Just because they saw it happen before, or just because it looks like it happened before. But is it really true though? Right? Past performance is not indicative of future performance. Have you ever read that somewhere? Do you ever wonder why they give you disclaimers when you first sign up to a trading platform? Past performance will not give you an indication of future performance. What happens if something happens right now in these strange times where we're having lockdowns all over the place, people dying all over the place, or so they say, where they're trying to implement all these different new technologies, CBDCs, and new policies and regulations. What's to say they won't just seriously just crash the shit out of Bitcoin? Not because they did it on purpose, because the pattern is based on human psychology. So if the pattern is based on human psychology, you and I don't have a say in that. The central banks don't have a say in that. Nobody has a say in that except for the pattern itself, which is the collective consciousness, right? So therefore, in all my assumptions that I can possibly make, this thing is going down because it has to, right? XLM is going up because it has to, because the pattern is incomplete. It's all about the patterns. Learn AriasWave. Learn AriasWave, and then you understand exactly what I'm talking about. Do your back testing, go back, have a look. You'll find that certain things cannot happen at certain times. For this to go on higher, right, than this, that is absolutely insane. It's not possible, right? And I don't give a crap if you look at RSI. If you look at RSI, you don't even go there. Do not even go there, right? RSI, yeah, we had the top. Nothing has ever gone above that in strength. Okay, nothing. This is all corrective. So if you think that this is the next bull run, so why has RSI never made a new high since 2017? You answer that question, right? You cannot answer that question because you don't know, right? And I can just give you a simple reason. It's because it's all corrective. There's going to be a C, there's going to be a D, there's going to be an E. This is sideways. So during that time, you can call it alt season. You can call it Bitcoin sucks and everything else got better because Bitcoin sucked for a little while. And then suddenly everything just went up. Like, who cares? This is just the beginning of something so much bigger that it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. This is just like small fry. The only reason I'm getting you into XLM is because of the percentage gains that you could earn if you buy it at 50 cents and it goes to 160 bucks. Simple as that. And if I see the wave, I believe the wave, and I believe that you can hit that target. I want you to hit that target and move it into USDT if it's still viable, if it's still a viable coin, stable coin. And then I want you to wait out the crash. And if you can do that, you might be halfway there. Because then you have to wait and then you have to reinvest into certain coins which actually will give value in the future. And then from that point on, yeah, you can make whatever money you want. It's going to be up to you, right? But you got to follow the patterns. If you understand the patterns, you're going to make more informed decisions. If you understand the patterns, you're going to understand what I'm posting. If you understand the patterns, at least you're not going to be like 99% of the people out there who are buying all sorts of stuff. Like, I'm sorry to say, but my friend I checked what he bought. I hadn't spoken to him for a while, and he was buying all sorts of stuff on crypto.com. When I saw crypto.com app, I nearly cried. It is the worst piece of garbage I've ever seen in my life. Literally rubbish. And by the way, I use Binance, and I'm not trying to promote them because I'm in no way affiliated with them, but Binance does the job. I've sent, I've received. But crypto.com, that's just like Michael Saylor using help.com to promote Bitcoin. He has no idea what he's doing, but he has a domain name. So let's just throw a bit of money into that and make something. No, rubbish. Rubbish. Michael Saylor is rubbish. Help.com is rubbish. Sorry, hope.com is rubbish. And Binance, I use Binance myself, and it works. And I'm pretty sure that nobody cares, but that's just my opinion. I just think that it's that it works. I tried Coinbase. Coinbase is not as good as Binance. I won't say it's shit. It's not as good as Binance. I just went straight to Binance. After I used it once, I'm like, yeah, this is it. I'm using this stuff. The rest of the crap, just you just got to be careful what you're using. You know, first of all, you got to be careful what you're investing in. Be careful what platform you choose to put it into. If you're going to use a wallet, at least choose a wallet that's good, reliable. Make sure you back up your keys. Use password managers, and have a strategy. Follow someone who knows what they're talking about. Have a strategy. You know, there's so much I can talk about, but there's not enough time. Will keep XLM until it hit 100? Fine. That's a good idea, because from where it is now to 100, that's bloody crazy, dude. That's amazing. Oh my God, don't use Coinbase Wallet. Yes, don't use Coinbase Wallet. Rubbish, rubbish crap. Just like Kraken. I wouldn't use Kraken. I wouldn't use Coinbase. I wouldn't use crypto.com. ADA. Look, just check out my ideas on ADA. Like I said, on the weekend, I'm going to post updates on all these coins. I just haven't had enough time. I just thought I don't know, make a live stream because it's so easy to do. You can just talk. People can ask you questions and I can just answer them. Just give me 1 second. I have a member. Messaging me. Hang on, let me just check something. Sorry, 1 sec. What, did XLM go down or something? Is someone freaking out? Ah, yeah, no, that's nothing. Sorry about that. Greg, how you doing, Greg? Please tell me which to use. USA. Look, Coinbase isn't the worst thing around. It's just not the best. I like to use the best. Binance is the best, in my opinion. Get a Ledger Nano. Yeah, but the thing is, with the Ledger Nano, it's still like it's a hardware wallet, but if you lose that hardware wallet, you're still referring to a key, and that key lies on some exchange. So you're basically just making it's like using your phone, basically. A Ledger Nano is like using your phone, but it's marketed to people who believe that it's cold storage, but it's not cold storage. There is no such thing as cold storage, because that would mean that you would have to be off the blockchain completely. And you can't ever be off the blockchain completely. I don't think that's even possible. Is that even possible? Because you can restore, if you lose your Nano Ledger, Ledger Nano, you can restore it if you got the keys. So what does that mean? It means that it's online somewhere, right? You get it? It's part of the blockchain. You can't get off the blockchain. The blockchain is always there. If you get off the blockchain completely, that means you're not on the blockchain. That means you don't have anything that is on the blockchain. This is the thing. I have a background in IT, and I can understand what they're doing, but it's the same thing as having a phone wallet. It's the same thing. Just don't lose your phone, and make sure you back up your keys. And it's the same thing. Same thing. So Ledger Nano X is making money off people who don't realize that. Your XLM is in cold storage, really? Did you freeze it somewhere? Did you like write it down on a piece of paper and freeze it? Because it's impossible. It's always going to be on the blockchain. Otherwise, how would it even know? How would the blockchain even know that it belonged to you if it was not somehow affiliated to you? Okay, so thank you, Flashback. Hi, Flashback, and thank you for that question. That's a good question. So the coming stock market crash will be, simply put, you know how you have like a wave 1, 2, and then you have a wave 3. Well, wave 1, 2 was 2009, and then we had another 1, 2, and that wave 2 will finish once the crash happens. So that means it'll be a good thing for everything, because we're going to go straight up for everything. Everything is going to go parabolic. But before that happens, there's going to be a big crash, which means a lot of people are going to panic sell. They're going to sell. Like, normally you're supposed to buy low, sell high, but most people don't do that. So what's happening now is that we're in a D wave bubble, which will burst, like per my ideas. And then it's going to be such a huge wave E because of the stimulus and the pumped up market that we have, that once that's over, yeah, it's going to be like buying season. It's like Warren Buffett says, when everybody's fearful, be greedy. So can you get your coins back if you have the keywords and well, yeah, if you lose your wallet, like just say, for example, you have a wallet on your phone, and just say you have a trust wallet, which is a Binance wallet. All right. If you lose your phone, yeah, as long as you made sure you put those keywords that they give you at the beginning when you create your wallet into a password manager under notes, because in a password manager, you can create notes and they're also saved. Yeah, you can restore your whole wallet just by using those keywords, which is like, I think it's like 12 or 14. I can't remember. Yeah, if you like restore, put the keywords in, yeah, you restore basically your whole wallet. And usually people can't get into your phone. So if you ever did lose your phone and you were worried about somebody somehow hacking into your phone, I would recommend restoring your wallet quickly and then transferring your coin into another wallet, which had another set of keywords, because just to make sure, it's not easy to hack into iPhones. Like I know that authorities can do it, but you just want to be safe. So yeah. Greg, I've told you many times, sign up to our the mentor program, and I'll just talk to you every day because I know you have a million questions, and I'll just answer them all every day. I'll just spend like a certain percentage of my day. Eventually, you will get it, and that will make my day. Oh, I love the gym. Thanks, Brand Burton. Thank you. I'm a gym fan myself. I go to the gym regularly. Except now we're in lockdown again, so uh probably gonna get antsy for a bit. But you know what? I have something to keep me entertained. So that's the waves. But yeah, hopefully I can channel my energy into that. So it's just yeah. So I suppose going back to this XLM USD chart, you can see there's been a bit of retracement, and that means nothing. Look at the RSI, it's already oversold. I don't use RSI, but when you can see RSI is oversold and the thing hasn't even gone back down below the previous low, it's like, yeah, it kind of just says close the RSI. It doesn't say anything else to me. It just says like don't use the RSI. The RSI is garbage. It's absolute rubbish. If anything, I'd turn back on my 500, 1000, uh, go to the 15-minute chart and see what's happening. Yeah, look, we can't break that low. It looks like we're going to get a crossover on the 15-minute chart. So once we get that crossover like that, that's going to be bullish. If we see a break of that red line, I'll give you. I'm the first person to give you an update. I'm gonna figure it out. I just don't think there's another count. Like because every time I post an idea, I have to have like I've trained my mind to always have an alternative count. So what I end up doing is posting the most uh, realistic and logical count based on AriasWave. So I try to skip the nonsense because like Ellioticians have alternate counts. My alternate counts are like, holy shit, you messed up, big time. They're not like, oh, it could be this, it could be that. No, there's only one true count. There's not like with Elliott wave. There's a whole range of possibilities that could happen. We could have a zigzag, a double zigzag, a triple zigzag, a double combination, a triple combination. It sounds like a freaking McDonald's order, right? I've said that before in my videos, and it's true. It's just ridiculous. But there is only one true count. And if you go back through the waves using AriasWave, you'll see that there's only one true count. My job is to just give you the current one true count using the very best of my abilities. And I share that ability through my program. That's all I do, really. And my members, I love them. I actually have meetings with them. If there's any members on now, that'd be nice. But I'm going to try and create like a verification, like a testimonial, a verified testimonials page where people can actually, like my members can actually testify to how they feel about the program, because I believe it's gold. It's just amazing. I wouldn't waste my time with it otherwise. Why would you waste your time promoting something that doesn't work? Eventually, someone's going to realize you're an idiot, you're faulty, and you're like your followship will go up and then it'll go down. It's like, okay, that was a whole waste of 2 years. Like maybe I should become a spammer. The exact same thing that I freaking hate. No, it's not going to happen. I like how the internet computer token solves password issue. I like how the internet computer tokens. Not sure what you mean by that. Unless you're talking about multi-factor authentication. Yeah, or cookies. Yeah. Yeah, with my Binance wallet, I have 3 steps of authentication. So if I log into like a new device, I have to like get an email authentication, an email code, an SMS code, and the authenticator app code. So it's like, okay, who's gonna try? And you have to do it within a minute. Great. Who's gonna try and figure all those out in a minute to try and get into my wallet? So if someone hacks into that exchange, that's on the exchange, right? That's all on the exchange because it wasn't me. God. It's a new token, third generation internet. I like how is that ICP? I think it was like ICP. I think I saw something. There's a new crypto out there, and it's like it solves a lot of internet problems. It literally turns the internet into a blockchain. It's just like, yeah, if that's what you're talking about, that's something I'm looking into, but like I will look into again. I actually believed in I first started my research and liked XLM, but then when I got into XRP, I started looking at all the interviews with Jed McCaleb, uh, well, David Schwartz, Brad Garlinghouse, but also when Jed would talk about XRP, like I know it's almost like he doesn't want to burn the bridges, but there was clearly some kind of conflict going on between them for him to leave. From what I read, there was definitely a lot of disagreements. So I don't think it was. I don't think it's anything sinister. I just think that basically they just went their own ways, and he just tried to create something different. A lot of his interviews say that they're solving different problems completely. So like XRPs for institutions and banks transfers, XLM's more like for the individuals to transfer cross-border payments. I've heard arguments that say that XLM is also can be used by institutions. So, I mean, at the moment, it's all a little bit up in the air. XLM partnered with IBM and a whole bunch of like both these projects, they're still building up. So I believe I'm just going to invest in both of them because I believe they both have a lot of potential. So whenever that crash happens, I take my profit up the top. I reinvest when the crash happens. I'm buying both of them. I'm not going to choose one over the other. I just can't do that. I just don't know how to do that. Um, There might be others as well. Like Cardano sounds like a good one. Mr. Hoskins has a lot of very interesting insights. If you listen to him speak, you can tell that the guy, he's not. I don't just want to say he's smart, because anybody can sound smart. He taught the things that he says make sense. So I suppose we need to see more news around what projects, what problems this is going to fix, and then we can sort of get more interested. At the moment, I think they're still, I think it's still in development, to be honest. Yeah. The most weirdest thing about my analysis right now is the Bitcoin going down, XLM going up. Now, even though I've made sense of it, it's just so, it just seems so, it seems logical to me. But when you start listening to people and they all have their own views, they give me another feeling like you're wrong. And I'm fighting that feeling. I'm fighting that feeling because screw that. Why would I do what I'm doing if I'm going to fall victim to the same shit I'm trying to avoid? I want to be proven wrong first before I change my view again, right? Yeah. Yeah, Cardano, yeah, Hoskins was working with ETH. He was working with, you know, Vital, is his name Vitalin? Yeah, they were working together. He obviously they had a falling out. He wanted to do something. It almost reminds me of the McCaleb and the Ripple team. What happened with Hoskins and Ethereum? It's almost the same thing, but yeah. So you could almost say like ADA is like XLM because they're both like had better ideas and nobody listened to them, so they went and made their own coin. Whatever. At the moment, it's all speculation. So until we have the crash, I would, I will make my choice later, not now. Cold storage is cold storage is BS. It's basically like taking your keys and hiding them somewhere in a password manager. I think like I remember hearing the Winklevosses, they hid them around all around the world in safety deposit boxes. Um, but at the end of the day, like if someone manages to get those keys, it doesn't matter if they're in a safety deposit box. Like the point is that we trust in blockchain. So those keys actually mean something. So if you lose your phone, it's the same as losing your nano ledger. So they're both the same. That's my point, right? So there's no other way to recover your wallet unless you have those keys and they all link back to the blockchain. So whether you have a Ledger Nano or a phone wallet, it makes no difference because they both got to link back to the blockchain in order to retrieve the wallet. That's all I'm saying. It makes perfect sense. You just got to use your logic on that one, right? There's a blockchain, and then there's the wallet. Okay, whether your wallet's on a nano ledger or an iPhone or an Android, it makes no difference at all, because it's still got to go back to the blockchain to verify that it's actually real and that it exists. And those keywords are the keys. So if someone breaks into your safety deposit box and happens to steal your special keys, well, they can just recreate your wallet and take all your crypto. So that's why I said before, if you do lose your phone, and even if it's passcode protected, I would still recommend restoring your wallet and then moving it to a different wallet, just in case someone hacked into your iPhone and then managed to somehow transfer them out. I don't know. It's just trying to help you understand a little bit. Yeah. And I have a background in IT, so I'm not just talking out of my ass. It's just, I don't know. You can find all this stuff online. It's just, I'm trying to explain it to you so you can sort of understand it a little bit more. Like, I suppose, like, if you had the wallet on your phone and you enabled Face ID, then it doesn't matter if they cracked your passcode, because it still required your Face ID. Your wallet would be safe, but for your own peace of mind, you'd still probably think, hey, maybe I should just put in a different wallet just in case, just in case I feel paranoid at night and I can't sleep. I don't know. So anyway, if we break this red line, that's going to really change my analysis a little. At the moment, it hasn't. So like, it either does or it doesn't. Like, am I going to worry before it happens? But by the way, I own the coin, so I'm not margin trading. Like, if you want to margin trade, you got to learn this yourself, right? Because you have to trust yourself to make your own choices. I don't want to make a call for you and then you're going to come and blame me, right? If you see that the analysis is good and that it works, great. That's good for you. It gains a little bit of credibility, maybe a couple of followers, big deal. But over the long run, it'll prove itself. So I don't really care about that. I'm already invested, and I want to hit that target, of course. But I want to hit it with you guys. I want you guys to come along for that journey, because wouldn't it be cool if we could all just hit that at the same time? But also, wouldn't it be cool if we all knew when to get out? So that's another thing I want to show people, is like, give them an idea when they should get out, because there's so many stories of people not getting out at the right time and losing everything they made. It's just blind trading, really. Yeah. Well, that's how I started. I started off with leverage and I learnt my lesson. I suppose getting into crypto helped me get away from margin trading. Um, and that is valuable, because when you margin trade, your mind is not, it's always focused on that trade. And it's almost like you're locked in, like your mind is locked to that trade. Like, if you try to think about something else, you can't do it. It's like so hard. And so I found that by just buying the underlying asset, I feel like I own it. So if I trust my analysis, I don't have to worry about my stop loss, because the stop loss is the one that kills you, right? As soon as you hit that stop, has it gotten in my stop yet? Oh my God, is it there yet? Like, if that goes below the red line, I don't give a shit. I'm just gonna do my hardest to try and make sure that the analysis can be corrected in a way that makes sense and update you guys. Right. But until I'm proven wrong, obviously I'm just going to stick to the story, right? Because that's to me, it makes perfect sense. But if you're a margin trader, that's a different ballgame. You are currently stressing your ass off. Everything I'm saying to you right now, you didn't even hear what I just said right now. Like when I said right now, like 3 times, you didn't register because you were so busy thinking about, did you hit that stop loss yet? You know, and that's I hate that. That's the worst feeling ever. So unless you've made a ton of money already, and then you've dedicated like 1%, and then you've learned the waves as well, and then you've got that, you have low risk knowledge, and then that's going to open the doors for you. That's my goal. I will eventually go back to that, but I want to build a community. That's more important to me because I want people to actually get into this stuff, because I feel like it's actually worth learning. Yeah. My target on XLM, well, it depends. If we hit that all-time high and retest it, it's $160. But we have to wait for that to happen first. We haven't seen that yet. If the E wave, B wave ends lower, it could be less, but not by much. If we happen to make a very small wave D now, it could be like less, but let's cross that bridge when we get there. It's not an easy question to answer, especially when we're seeing what we're seeing now. Yeah, I believe I do talk about this on my ideas, so just go back and watch them. Yeah, so apart from that, just reiterating, B wave Bitcoin. The reason why I think that it's topped, and this is basically, we're heading for the end of this now. Unless you guys want to just tap in a question that I could really answer and whatever, but according to AriasWave, we need to see a C wave, okay? And I can see the beginning of that C wave, okay? Anybody who wants to argue that this is just going to go straight up, well, that means my AriasWave is completely wrong just for this one chart, because it's not wrong on any other chart. Well, it's not 100% true. Like, for example, right, if you go back here to this area, right, let's just have a look at this area for a sec. Here, okay, we had an A wave, like big, we had a small B, and then we had a tiny C. But the thing is here, this is a larger degree correction, right? It's not a small degree correction for wave 4. So the fact that B wave expanded above the top, to me, that tells me that we're going to see a larger pullback before we see a D wave. So it's not the same thing, even though you can go back. Like, this is what people do. This is what I've noticed people do on TradingView, is they go back and they look at this pattern. It looks the same. Oh, this has happened before. This is, hang on. See, it did this, it did that, and then it did this. And look, it's doing the same thing now. Now it's going to keep going. But that's not really knowing the waves. That's just basically, you're a dumbass, and you just think that everything just keeps going up in a straight line. And it's like who the freak are you to think that? Like, are you dumb? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I am dumb. But to me, that sounds like really stupid to think that something can go up in a straight line forever, especially when it hits $60,000 and then suddenly it crashes and it's worth half. That's a red flag, man. So to cap it off, I think B-Wave is done on Bitcoin. We're going to see weakness in Bitcoin when it comes to the XLM BTC chart, right? We're going to see XLM outperform Bitcoin, right? According to the same pattern, because it's the same pattern. We've seen the C wave. We're going to go for D. So if we zoom into what it's currently doing right now, it's not. It's actually just correcting. And if you look at the 1 hour chart and you look at that 1,500, the 500 is a red line. The white line is a 1,000 moving average. You can see that it's just kind of like in that area. So does this look like it's going to keep going lower, or does this look like it's gone up and it's just correcting and it's just going to keep going higher? You be the judge. I already know what's going to happen. But seriously, like, if it was going to go down, it would have just went down. It would have just said, okay, we're up and now let's just keep going down. Why would it hang around this area? I mean, to me, that's pretty obvious. I don't just use one chart. I use multiple: XLM USD, XLM BTC, and also my AriasWave knowledge. So you think XLM is going to go pump even BTC dumps? Well, that's the whole freaking point, right? I know that it's really hard to believe it right now. And if it doesn't happen, there's going to be a good reason for it, right? There better be a good bloody reason for it, because I can't see it happening. But yeah, that's the general idea. I'm sorry if you don't like that. I'm going to just have to wait and prove it to you, because the charts are telling me this. Yeah, I think we are going to see a disconnection between BTC and alts, simply because we've already seen like okay, look at it this way. This is an XLM versus BTC chart. Okay. So at the beginning, we had XLM on this chart went up like 2,000% roughly, right? And then it crashed basically the whole way down during between 2018 and 2021, right? So according to AriasWave, you can't go any lower than that, right? Like, go throw yourself off a building and the ground is like the bottom part, right? That's this level here. Will you go through the ground? It's impossible. That's what AriasWave does. It gives you that perspective. So we can't go below the ground, because that's the support. That's basically the ground. When you hit the ground, you ain't going below it. You may splat, but you ain't going below it. So what I believe has happened now is we've seen the weakest part of the altcoin, in this case the Lumen. We've seen the weakest part occur, which is why it's hard to believe that it could outperform Bitcoin, and Bitcoin can't go down, because during this whole period of time, we've seen the weakest part up until 24th of Jan 2021. We've seen the most weakest possible part of the Lumen. So in everybody's mind, they think that it's impossible for the Lumen to outperform Bitcoin, but the pattern says that it will from this point onwards. So it's kind of like trying to use the past to predict the future, but not using the waves, using your experience, like just say, for example, you cut yourself on something, right? And you know that you're so clumsy, you're gonna cut yourself if you go in that if you do that thing, right? Because you're so clumsy. So next time you do it, you expect to cut yourself again because for some reason you're just that clumsy, right? But in reality, there's a chance that that may not happen. It's just that your brain thinks that it's going to happen because you just think in this way that is like clumsy, I suppose. But when you actually look at it in AriasWave perspective, we've seen the weakest part of the Lumen drop against BTC. That's why people cannot fathom what I'm talking about. That's why I like to have these live streams so then people can kind of freaking understand why I'm saying these things rather than me just seeming like I'm crazy, right? Because I actually have a reason for it. But if you don't want to understand it, then just go watch Magic Poop Cannon guy. Like, go ahead. Like, I don't care. Why did XLM dump with everything else recently then? Well, I don't think it actually dumped as hard as Bitcoin did, right? And it actually bounced. But you have to understand, right? Like, this is the bottom. Like, just have a look, for example, at this daily chart here. All right. You know how they have that magic cross, right? The magic cross is when, like, usually they use a 200 moving average with a 100. Well, I use the 500 and the 1000 because I like to go to extremes, right? So just imagine we see that cross of the red going above the white. That's the point where everything changes, right? That's the point where it's going to flip. You're going to see XLM outperform Bitcoin. We haven't seen that yet. We're in the process, like I said, and it's interesting because by the time that flips, I reckon that's when B wave ends, and we're going to see that move that is going to mimic the 2017 move up, right? And Bitcoin's already seen its B wave completed. So to me, it's just logical. To you, you don't know the waves, learn the waves, keep watching my videos. I can't explain to you exactly how it works because that means I'm just teaching you. Like, learn the waves and then we can have one-on-one meetings, Zoom sessions, and like I've got planned with someone tomorrow, one of my followers. So look, I'm gonna have to wrap this up. This summer, I'm not going to predict anything until we see the end of B wave. Once we see C, D, E completed, then I'll come up with an estimated date. I'm not going to do that yet. Oh, Ethereum, like I said, I'm going to go through all the coins on the weekend, probably Saturday in Melbourne time, and I'm going to really try to really start giving regular updates on all the majors. Yeah, because I want to do that. So I think that answers basically all of the questions that I can see. I do. Oh, XLM ETH. I'll get around to it. Okay. Yeah. Let's just take it one step at a time. I'm a one-man band here. So you have to understand that doing analysis on all of these different coins, it takes a lot of time. But I just try to keep you updated on the one to make those profits. And then once I can expand my operations, definitely I'm going to be covering a lot more. And I think there's a lot more to be said for cryptos because a lot of people put them into one basket. Everything trends with Bitcoin. I think that's a big mistake. For now, it works, but eventually it won't work. Like nothing ever works forever. So if you think that's going to work forever, I think you're a dumbass personally, because nothing ever works forever. Nothing is ever forever. There's no such thing as forever. Look, thank you guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please comment on my videos, become a site member. If you wanna join the program, you know, becoming a site member is the first part of it. And then just if you want to ask questions, there's a contact form. It's all pretty self-explanatory. It just depends on what your goals are. If you want to keep watching my videos, just keep doing that. I don't really mind. But yeah, just do whatever you want. Like I said to you before, figure out what's BS and what's not. And once you start to see what is and what isn't, make your own choice, right? No one's going to make that choice for you. Okay, so hopefully you've enjoyed this live stream and I hope to see you again soon. All right, so take care.